In this video, I'm going to share some Braille and AT activities I created for a dual media student in first grade that were put on Seesaw. So right now, due to student confidentiality, I'm using Seesaw as a teacher, and on the right-hand side, it says the name of the class, which is Vision Services. It says teacher underneath, and then there are 4 buttons going from left to right. It says journals, activities, inbox, and skills. I've got activities activated, and then it shows that I have activities that have been assigned to my class. So on the left-hand side is a list of all the different activities that the student was assigned or will be assigned. So the first activity I want to share with you is from the theme Dragons Love Tacos, because my student really likes reading that book. So there's a reading activity, a writing activity, and also a tech activity. These activities were either created by myself or I went to the community library on Seesaw, which are a bunch of activities that already have been created by teachers, and then I adapted them for my student. So since Seesaw isn't fully accessible with a screen reader, I make sure that there's either video instructions or audio instructions for my student because she visually fatigues very quickly and pretty much relies on audio to obtain her information. So her parent assists her in accessing activities and providing responses. So I'm going to click on the first activity that's titled Braille Reading Dragons Love Tacos Sentences. When I clicked on the title, it opens it up into a full window, and there's text, then there's a play button. And if you're using a screen reader, it'll say button, but it doesn't have the button labeled, and then it'll say play instructions, and you can actually activate the play button to listen to the instructions. So let me play this for you.
You will need your work mat and Braille worksheet, Dragons Love Tacos Sentences. You will be reading 2 new words, dragon and taco. Watch the video to read along with me. Record a video of you reading the first 3 sentences and post it.
For the purposes of this video, I'm not going to show you the video that I created that demonstrates me modeling reading the Braille sentences because I'm having some technical difficulty accessing this video on Seesaw today, but I will share with you other ones. So that was a Braille reading activity. Then here's a Braille writing activity, and it's titled Braille Writing Dragons Love Tacos. So I will click on the title, and then I will push the play button so you can listen to the instructions, which would be accessible to my student.
You will need your Braille buzz. Write the following alphabetic word signs that appear in the Dragons Love Tacos sentence worksheet. Write you, have, not, do, can, go, will, like, it, and but. Write the words taco, T-A-C-O, and dragon, D-R-A-G-O-N. Record yourself writing the alphabetic word signs and post it.
Okay, so the next activity that I just want to share is an AT activity. So the student has an iPad and they know how to use VoiceOver and some VoiceOver gestures to swipe over to the appropriate app that they're going to use to read, which is VoiceStream Reader, and listen to digital books that have been uploaded to VoiceStream Reader. So in this activity, again, I have audio instructions that have been created so the student can access the activity. I'm just going to push the play button within the activity itself so you can hear the instructions.
You will need your iPad. Turn on VoiceOver. Close your eyes and practice listening to locate and select VoiceStream Reader. Double tap the screen 2 times to select it. Swipe from left to right until you hear the title of the book, Dragons Love Tacos. Double tap to select the book. If needed, rewind the book. Close your eyes as you navigate to the play button. Double tap to play the book. Enjoy listening.
And I just want to point out, I know in the previous activity, which involved Braille writing for using the Braille buzz, that the Braille buzz does not allow you to write words and it say words, it just says letter names. But since my student and the parent aren't familiar with pairing a Braille display to an iPad, this was the next best option when she's not using a Braille writer. And the student is learning alphabetic word signs, and she knows if she types the letter Y, it's the word U. If she types the letter N, it's the word not. So she practices writing some of her alphabetic word signs or just words in uncontracted Braille because it will say the names of the letters she's writing. So I just wanted to note that. So here are some activities that I can share with you that are games, and they include video demonstrations. And these are mostly for the parents so that they can work with the student to play these games on their own. So during remote learning, what we do is we have an hour of direct instruction using Zoom, where I try to preview some of these activities, or we do separate activities. And then the student's assigned like 5 different activities, and she can pick 2 or 3 that week to complete so she can practice her Braille reading, writing, and technology skills. So the next activity I want to share with you is called Braille Reading Game, and I'm going to play the audio instructions and then play the video demonstration for you.
Play the game Spin and Read, or the Braille Sight Word Game. When you play the Braille Sight Word Game, use your left and right index fingers to track from left to right to read each sight word. For Spin and Read, you will need Spinner 3 and Spinner 4. Spin the spinner and read the alphabetic word sign that the spinner stops on. Check off you completed one of these games. Have fun.
Okay, and now I'm clicking on the button to show you the video. I'm crossing my fingers, it works.
It's time to play Spin and Read. I've made 4 spinners for you that have different Braille words or numbers on them. I made 2 alphabetic word sign spinners, a number spinner, and then a spinner that has the contractions and, the, for, of, and with. The one that I have right here has 6 different sections. And if I spin the spinner, let's see where it lands. It lands on yellow. I'm going to turn it to face me so I can feel the Braille. I track from left to right. I feel the letter J. That's the word just. Spin the spinner again. Say it landed on red. I read very. Now spin it one more time. It landed on green. I'm turning my spinner to face me, and I feel the letter R for rather. So that's one of my alphabetic word signs, Spin and Read spinners. Now I'm going to get the spinner that has numbers on it. So any of the numbers between 1 and 7 could be on this spinner. I spin the spinner, lands on a color, and then I read from left to right. Number sign 5. There's the number 5. Spin the spinner. 4. They're not in order, but I'm getting the numbers. 3. Oh my goodness. Let's see what I have next. Turn the spinner, have it face me. Number sign 2.
So that's just an example of a video demonstration of a Braille game that I created. And then there are plenty other activities on here related to Dragons Love Tacos, where the student would watch an animated video, primarily listening to the book Dragons Love Tacos being read aloud, and then writing a Braille sentence using her Braille writer. And then the following week, I had a theme for cats, and as well as focusing on reviewing some Braille number activities. So what I did was I created a bunch of activities related to those 2 topics and put them on Seesaw. So the first one is Braille counting game. I won't demonstrate that for you. Then the next one is Braille adding game. And again, most of these videos are demonstrations for the parents. But I do want to show you this Braille game or activity. It's called Sentence Scramble, and I got it from one of the books. I can't remember the name of it, where you make a Braille sentence, then you make a second one that's exactly the same, you cut it up and you mix up the words, and the student has to put the words in order. So again, there's the title of the activity, which is called Sentence Scramble. There's print with all the instructions for the parent to access, or if you used a screen reader, it would read the text once you've actually opened the activity in a full window. And then you can play the instructions and play the video. I will play the video as well as the audio instructions.
You will need your work mat and sentence scramble materials. There are 8 sentences. You will pick 4 of the sentences to complete this activity. Take the paper clip off the sentences and braille phrases. Place the sentence on your mat and read it. Afterwards, put the words and phrases in order to build the sentence. Refer to the sentence as needed to build it. Watch the video to learn how to complete the sentence scramble activity. Have fun unscrambling the sentences. Check off you've completed this activity.
So I previewed this activity with the student during our Zoom session, and we actually read 4 sentences, and then it was her job to go on Seesaw and maybe pick this activity and read 4 more sentences. So I'm going to now play the video demonstration. And it might not work due to some technical difficulties. Let's see.
You're going to play a sentence scramble game. You have a sentence, and then you're going to unscramble the braille words to put them in the same order as the sentence. I have a sentence at the top of my table. I'm going to read the sentence. The cat is not up in the tree. And now I'm going to read my words or phrases underneath it to put them in order. I feel the, but there's no capital sign, so I don't think that's the first word in the sentence. I'm looking for a capital sign and the. Oh, there's the. So let's see. The cat. The cat. That's my first one. Let's see what comes next. The cat is not. Up and no, is not. I've got. The cat is not up in, let's see if I can find that. The tree up in. Here is up in, and then I've got the, and last, tree. So you're going to unscramble the sentence and then rebuild it with these different phrases or braille words. It says, the cat is not up in the tree. So you have 8 sentences to unscramble. Have fun.
Okay, so the last activity that I want to show you is just another activity related to AT, and a student has a video magnifier at home, one from APH. I think it's called the Jupiter, and she's familiar with how to use it independently. So in this activity, she's reading a regular sized print book at her reading level. It's titled The Chase, and there's audio instructions for this activity. I will play those audio instructions for you.
You will need your magnifier and the book, The Chase. Use your magnifier to read the book. Increase the size of the print with the zoom wheel and make the print white and the background black. Record a video of yourself reading part of the book aloud using your magnifier and post it.
Okay, so I want to show you how you can add an activity. And if you go to the top middle part of the screen, there is a green circle with a plus button, and it's the add button. I honestly don't remember if this button is accessible with the screen reader. I'll have to go back and check. So once you click on the add button, you go down to the second item in the list, which is assign activity. And then you have my library or a community. So from left to right, it says community or my library. And when I am creating some of these activities, I do go to the community library, and I just clicked on that, and it shows a bunch of activities created by other teachers. You can do a search for keywords. You can go by grade level, different topics. But for this purpose, I'm just going to show you my library, and I'm going to show you one activity that's in my library that was assigned to the student. It's a game called Beat the Clock. Again, for the purposes of this, I'm not going to play the video demonstration, but what I have is on the left-hand side is I have a video. On the right-hand side, it says the title of the activity, it gives the text instructions, and then the audio instructions. I can play the audio instructions in a minute. Underneath the audio instruction button, it tells you what devices Seesaw is compatible with: Chromebook, computers, iPads, iPhones, Android tablets, Android phones, and Kindle Fire. And then on the bottom right hand side, there are these three little buttons. And when you click on that, you can add your activity to a collection. You can copy and edit the activity, or you can edit the activity, delete the activity, or share the activity. And when you share it, you can get like a link and share it with other people. So I just wanted to show you that. I will play the instructions for Beat the Clock.
You will need your Beat the Clock flashcards. There is a Braille word or contraction on each flashcard. Set a timer for 2 minutes and see how many Braille words you can read correctly. Each week, see how many Braille words you can read correctly. Try to read more words each week. Watch the video to learn how to play Beat the Clock. Record yourself reading the Braille words while playing the game.
So if I wanted to assign this activity to my student, I would go to the top right-hand side where it says assign. I would click on it, and then I can check off if I want to assign this to all my students in my class or edit the students. And I'm not going to click on that button right now, but it would give me a list of all the students in the class, and I could check or uncheck who I was assigning it to. Then on the bottom right-hand side, I can assign it to the class, click assign, and then it lets you view it. And so now Beat the Clock is on the left-hand side of my screen. It can be accessed, again, with the video instruction as well as the audio instructions. So I want to show you how I can edit an activity. If I go to add, then assign activity, there was one activity that I have in my collection that needed some audio instructions, and I was going to show you how to do that. It says Cat Braille writing activity. So in this activity, the student's working on writing sentences using familiar contractions that are alphabetic word signs, as well as the, and I have visuals for the parent. So to use as a reference, the sim braille of the words or a sentence are visually present, and then there are print words under the sim braille, and that's strictly for the purpose of the parent to have access to that so they know what it should look like when the student's writing it. So I have not added audio instructions to this activity. So if I go to the bottom right-hand corner, I can click on the three dots and I can click on edit activity. When I click on edit activity, this is when you're like actually creating an activity is what you would see. You have an activity name, so I've already written in that. It's titled Cat Braille writing activity. There's student instructions, which I've written. I'll read those to you. You will need your Braille writer and Braille paper. Write the following words in Braille: cat, hat, mat, bat, sat, and et cetera, et cetera. And then underneath the text instructions, there's a button to add voice instructions and add multimedia instructions or examples. So if you wanted to add a link to YouTube or a link to a video to actually upload a video, if you wanted to upload a PDF file, you can do that through add multimedia instructions or examples. The problem, or one of the drawbacks to Seesaw, is that it is very visually based, and a lot of things are picture images that are uploaded. So it's really important if you're using this that you have audio instructions or video instructions, or you make sure that PDF can be downloaded and it is an accessible document with digitalized text. Because when there's a lot of visual information that's not accessible, it's really not useful for your students, and they'll require a lot more support to access stuff with their parents, or they won't be able to access the activity at all. So again, there's the title of the activity, student instructions that get written, then we can add voice instructions. So I'm going to click on that button, and then a little microphone picture pops up, and it says click the button to begin recording. So I'm going to click on that and record it, and then I'll play it back so you can hear it. You will need your Braille writer and Braille paper. Write the following words in Braille: cat, hat, mat, bat, sat. Write a sentence using two of the words above. Remember to use a capital sign at the beginning of the sentence and spaces between your words. Example sentence: the cat can go on the mat. A template with Braille and print is attached for your mom or sister to see as an example. Take a picture of your work and post it. So I'm going to push the stop button, and then it's saying processing. And once it's instructions, and I can either delete them or save them.
You will need your Braille writer and Braille paper. Write the following words.
So if I like those instructions, I can just go to save, and then it saves my document. My activity. I can click on the upper right-hand side, which says assign. I can go to my whole class and assign it to my whole class, and then I can view it, and I can see my activity here. It has the title, it has the text, and then it has accessible audio instructions. So these are just some examples of activities that I have created and posted on Seesaw. As I said, Seesaw isn't fully accessible with a screen reader, and my student has been somewhat successful using this with parent support because she's a dual media learner. So she uses some vision as well as audio to access things. And then she uses multimedia, audio, visual, and tactual for her actual learning. So I also want to show you some examples of sort of student responses. So pictures can be posted, and I'll make this a lot bigger if I can. It's a picture of a student's hands on a Braille Buzz, and the Braille Buzz is from APH. It has honeycombs across the top with the letters of the alphabet in Braille, and then on the bottom it has a Perkins-style keyboard with dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a space bar in the middle. So the student's hands are placed on the Perkins-style keyboard with her hands on the space bar. And I wanted to share one more example of student work. And this is a sample of a student's writing. So the class was working on ing. So she doesn't know that contraction. So she was just practicing reading large print words that had ing in it and doing visual activities where I had to change the contrast of the activity, enlarge the print, and put it on Seesaw. That was to access the regular ed curriculum. And then I made a Braille activity where she had to practice writing specific words that had ing in it. And this is an example of uncontracted Braille where she wrote the words sing, wing, king, thing, and ring, and mom interlined underneath. So I hope you find this helpful and reach out to me if you'd like any assistance using Seesaw with your students.